In these 2 days, I'm planning to like dual boot the system and then I will start.
Okay. What kind of issues are you having?
Issues and one that I discussed with you, like VMs are not responding properly, and like it took me like 1 or 2 minutes to do a one practical, but for that thing VM took 1 or 2 minute equal time VM took to respond.
okay.
After starting the VMware, machine started getting slow very badly. Like
So how much RAM do you have on your system?
system RAM is 8 GB, and I
8 GB.
allocated, as last time we discussed, you told like you only boot the two VMs, so I just boot only Kali VM that is
Mhm.
allocated like 2 GB of RAM,
Okay.
and 500 MB RAM I allocated to my this Mr. Robot machine.
Okay.
Even though like it started getting slow very badly, so currently planning like either remove that uh, VMware from this and
Mm.
do the dual boot thing with my system, or either like install the Windows 7 and on which I will use that VMware, because with Windows 7 it was working fine, and
Okay. But
after
with
Windows
Windows
10
10,
it started creating these issues.
because Windows 10 is heavier on the resources as compared to Windows 7.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely
So
why you
it's
are.
like whenever I try to do this thing, like boot the VM, and even after starting the VMware window also started getting slow. So that time, if like it keeps showing that warning, program is not responding, wait or stop the program. This type of warning it is keep showing continuously.
Okay. Yeah. So see, you have 8 GB of RAM, right? Uh,
Mhm.
are you sure that 8 GB is usable? If you have two RAM sticks, sometimes it happens that one of them might not be
No,
working.
it is like a single piece RAM only, 8 GB
Okay.
RAM, out of which 7 point something is available in Windows. It is showing.
Okay. So that's not the issue. Right.
I guess that the dual boot thing will be good for me if I did that.
Yeah, dual boot might help you because if you use some version of Linux as your host OS,
Hmm.
that might uh, like see Linux is going to consume less resources than Windows 10. That's for sure.
Yes, and even if I use 8 GB RAM and if I created 4 GB of swap, it will be very helpful in Linux. I don't know in Windows there is no concept for swap or there, but
And I don't think you need to create special 4 GB for swap itself, but see, Linux is going to consume less RAM, especially if you use a distro like let's say ParrotOS or even Kali.
hmm.
So these are definitely going to use a lot less resources than Windows does.
Yes, like 8 GB is like more than enough for these distros, so
Yeah,
the RAM will not be an issue if I do the dual boot thing.
exactly. The main thing with VMs is always a matter of RAM. That's why it's
Hmm.
the issues you are getting, they're all due to this resource shortage.
Hmm.
That has always been the issue with VMs, and I mean, there's
Yes,
nothing you can
like
do
after
about it.
VMware, it was slow before also, but in Windows 7 it was working. Like once machine booted up,
Mm.
after boot up, machine will work fine.
Okay.
All the machines are working fine, but in after Windows 10, like in between, it keeps showing it like program not responding.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, no? Windows 7 is lighter than Windows 10,
Hmm.
but of course, it's not recommended to use Windows 7 as your main OS
Hmm.
because since it is old, it has a lot of security issues as compared to Windows 10.
Yes, that's why like a dual boot thing I'm planning, like on Saturday Sunday I'll do the dual boot thing, and then will practice in dual boot mode because it will be faster than this. Like even if I use the Windows 7 and use the VMware on top of Windows, so I'm working on these Linux machines and in the background, Windows only consuming the resources.
That is the case with them. But keep in mind that if you are installing Windows 7,
Mhm.
like if you do a dual boot configuration, you're installing Windows 7, then only use that when you need to work with your VMs. Okay.
Hmm.
Otherwise, use Windows 10 for everything else.
Okay.
Okay? Because see, otherwise the issue that you'll get is, like I mentioned, Windows 7 has a lot of security
Security
flaws.
flaws. Hmm.
Yeah. And even like what's even worse is that as of now, they are not even going to release any kind of security updates or anything because the support for that has ended.
Seven support is ended.
Yeah. So that's also the thing to keep in mind.
Okay.
Okay, so yesterday we were working on this.
Krypton.
Yeah, we were working on those war games, crypto especially.
Hmm.
So now I'm not going to cover that entire thing in class. I would encourage you to go to that website, try those problems by yourself,
Hmm.
because again, like we don't have time to cover the entire war game through scratch. I wanted to give you an you know an idea of how that works and how you can work on it.
Hmm.
Okay, so keep practicing with that as well whenever you get the time, whenever you're able to. And today we are going to work on something a little different. Okay, just there is this website that I mentioned. I think I mentioned it yesterday or day before. So actually, there's a couple of websites that will be seen. So these are websites which offer you some kind of challenges in a different way than what you would see in a war game or even in a CTF.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's helpful if you practice all kinds of things. So I'll show you that website just a moment. Okay, so the screen should be visible now.
Hmm.
So there is this
Wechall.
website called Wechall, so wechall.net.
Hmm.
Okay, so again, like other websites we have seen in this case, it's completely free. You can just sign up and get access to the challenges here and start working on them. So
Okay.
I mean that's the best part of these things. You don't have to pay anything. Just sign up, go to challenges, and you can start working on these challenges now. So let's say I sort these by difficulty. Now this is an old website, relatively old. Okay, it's like 12 years old by now.
Hmm.
So it has been around for a long time. A lot of people have accessed it. It's a nice website for practicing challenges. And I couldn't remember my old account, so I had to create a new one. So There's not a lot of stuff solved on this account. Okay, so I opened the first challenge. It says the solution is hidden in this page. Okay, so what could I do to try and find it? Can you give me
Like a source code view.
source code view? Okay, let's try that. Source code, view page source.
Uh-huh.
Now, see if there is something useful or if there is a password hidden somewhere, it is going to be in the format of an HTML comment.
Okay.
So for an
In this
HTML,
division, heading, or span setting, there will be a comment section.
see like this is a comment.
This is a comment.
So
Okay.
something like that. Usually passwords in the source code are usually in comments. I mean, that's not necessary that it will always be in a comment, but that's the most uh,
Your solution. This
common
is the
scenario. So we need to look in the source code for the solution. Okay. Usually what happens is that the solution is close to where this text is or where this input field is.
hmm.
That's usually the case that I've seen. So where is that? Okay,
Your solution for training gets
should be somewhere
host.
close to this.
Use host to get it. This is a comment.
Okay, that's just the input box and that's the entire page. Okay. Sometimes it can take a while to find these things. Now see in the comments, we are unable to find the answer. Okay, so we can look in other places as well, which is within some HTML code itself.
In the header section.
Head section usually never has any sort of solutions because it's metadata and it's loading the scripts and the CSS files. So
Mm-hmm.
that is not going to have your answer. I mean, in some cases, very rare cases, it might have the answer, but that does not usually happen. And even in this case, it's just JavaScript files that actually
Mm-hmm.
link to and CSS files and other such metadata. Okay, this is just the sidebar. I don't think it's. And the last time I did this, it didn't take me this much time. I don't know why I'm unable to see it this time around.
Training gets host. सर ये टाइप हिडन ये क्या है?
Type
सबमिट.
hidden. Okay, this is not the answer for the challenge, but if you this is also a type of input.
Okay.
Okay,
Password
so
type kind of thing.
actually this is a CSRF token.
Okay.
Okay, these are always going to be of the hidden type. So are you familiar with CSRF attacks?
Mm, cross-site request forgery.
Yes.
Okay.
So these CSRF tokens are used to prevent CSRF attacks.
Okay.
Okay, so the logic is that with a CSRF attack, what you're doing is you're trying to send a request posing as some other user.
Okay.
But with CSRF, what happens with the CSRF token, what happens is every individual request that you submit
Mm.
is going to have a CSRF token, and that changes for every individual request
Okay.
in order to prevent anyone from performing a CSRF attack.
Okay.
So that's why these tokens are used, and they're usually always just kept as this
Hidden. Hidden type.
hidden. Yeah, because as a user, you don't need to see it. But it is important for the web server to have that solution in place. As a user, of course, not necessary. Okay, rather than this, I think we could just use this inspector. Okay, so the password is present in this case. The direct source code is not showing it anywhere. If I look at the source code, so you
Mm.
look at view page source, the actual comment is below this. So it is visible with this inspector. So sometimes you need to try both
Inspect
these.
element.
Like when you press F12, it shows up
Mm-hmm.
this developer tools.
Mm-hmm.
So within this inspector, you can see this is the password. Password is simply HTML underscore source code. And you can
Okay.
try submitting this. Yeah, okay. So answer is correct. Okay.
Let's tag no. Crypto CZW reports Ascii primes.
So the next thing is Ascii. We're going by difficulty level. So it says in a computer you can only work with numbers. In this challenge, you have to decode the following message, which is in Ascii. So ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So when you enter a character like A, B, C, anything, or even space or a number or special character, anything, that is represented as this code. It has a numeric value attached to it. Every character has a numeric value that is associated with it and which is used to represent that character. So, for example, 32. Okay, 32 is for space.
Okay.
So wherever we see 32, that means that represents a space. Now what we can do is they gave a link, okay, this ascitable.com. So either you can go to this website, okay, open new tab. So this is showing you the codes associated with every character. So this is for special characters and system things. This is the first section. Then 32 stands for space and other characters. Then you have your numbers from 48 to 57, and your alphabets start from 65 to 97 for the uppercase. No, sorry, not 97, 90, 65. 65 to 90, and from 97 to 122 for lowercase. And of course, other characters also are present. So either you can use this and manually do that thing, or you can search for an online converter. Let's see. Okay. Okay, this is not giving us the actual answer. I'm just going to ignore this. So this has done a conversion, and it tells us that the solution is
Why it
whatever.
was not working in previous one?
I don't know, but that didn't work. Maybe it wasn't able to interpret correctly.
Okay.
That's a sort of issue that you'll run into with these online converters. So
Okay.
so it says the solution is this. Copy and simply paste it here and submit. See what it tells us. Your answer. So that's the correct answer. Again, if we go here and encodings URL. Okay. So your task is to decode the following. Okay. So what is this? What kind of
This text, URL text. Like,
URL encoding? Okay.
okay.
So you might notice this kind of thing in URLs. Okay, maybe not in
Mm.
this one, but in a lot of URLs you'll notice this.
It's like after domain name, there are URLs.
Yes, because there are a lot of characters that you cannot really represent in a URL.
Mm.
Like you cannot type a space bar in a URL, you cannot type a comma or a full stop. So you need to represent those as URL encoding. So that needs to be done here. So you can take any online URL decoder again and decode. It says your URL is challenge training encodings. And okay, just enter, just copy this, copy and go here and enter this URL. Just paste it, go. Okay, so that is the solution. And this is just one website that I'm showing you. There are a lot of others as well. I picked this one because it's one of the more popular ones.
Mm.
Okay. The next thing it tells us is training Stegno 1. Okay, let's try this one. So it says this is the most basic image Stegno that I can think of. So there is an image that we're supposed to consider. What you do is you save this image. What is the name? Stegno. Okay. Stegno 1 dot bitmap. Okay. So I go to this folder, to this directory. You see there's this image stegno1 dot bmp, and it's a very small bitmap actually, so you can't even open it and see it properly. So what should we do in this case?
Technography, like hiding the text behind the images. So
Hmm, that means we need to figure out what the hidden thing is.
we should like open this image in a text formatter or like steganography decoder.
Okay, so let's go to our terminal. Let's change to this directory where the file is located. And okay, in a text editor, you say.
Text editor, no, like there's an online decoder for a steganography image. We can upload the image and it
And
will extract the hidden code inside that image.
okay, yes, that is one way to solve these challenges, definitely.
Mhm.
But before you do that, before you go to the effort of uploading it and having an online app analyze it, there is a couple of things you can try on your own as well.
Okay.
Okay, so we've seen that there is a command known as strings. So this basically takes out any human readable string,
Hmm.
which is a part of the image itself. Now, of course, if you are able to find something with strings, that means it's very basic steganography. A lot of images, okay, this is not going to work. But in this case, we are able to use this stegno1.bmp, sorry, string to see, and we have this one line. The password is simply stegno1. Okay, so if I copy this and I go here, I paste it. Let's see. Okay, that's the solution.
Can go to the terminal where you open this image. Where you open this image with the string. Okay.
Strings. I think strings we
Stego.
use somewhere in
Yes, in that
onions as well. They used it.
bandit we use.
Yeah.
Look what the hex edit maybe passwords tag my. Okay.
So these strings and all these tools, these are going to be very helpful, very essential when you are trying to solve CTFs, solve these kind of challenges. So you need to keep these things, keep these commands in mind whenever you are working on
Hmm.
something like this.
Hmm.
Okay. But otherwise, of course, you have other ways to solve this challenge. Like one thing that you mentioned, you could upload this to some other application online. There are a lot of them. But if you're able to solve it this way, that is a much faster way of doing this.
Hmm.
And of course, this is not the only use for strings, it's usable in a lot of other places as well. So similarly, they have a lot of other things that you can solve. Okay, I'll just do one more and then we'll move on to something else. Now it says, in this little training challenge, you are going to learn about the robots exclusion standard. Okay, this file is used by crawlers to check. So what we need to do is we need to take a look at the robots.txt file. So are you aware about the function of this file?
In this, the content we specify in this file,
Hmm.
like a web crawler is not allowed to list that content in indexes.
Exactly. Web crawler is not allowed to even go to that URL,
Okay.
let alone index it.
Hmm.
So in this case, this is the URL that it's telling us. So I copy this. So try going to it. And okay, answer is correct. So this is the robots exclusion standard that is being talked about here.
Hmm.
And it's simply used to communicate with web crawlers and tell them what they are not allowed to access.
Hmm. Barabar.
Yeah, I can close this. So similarly, okay, just go to this website, sign up, create an account, and you'll be able to get access to a lot of challenges and can solve them on your own time.
Hmm. Wechall.net.
Wechall.net. And another thing is they also provide you links to other websites which you can try. And there's also a list of websites here. So there's actually, I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff that you can try out. Okay, another website is Defend the Web.
Hmm.
They also mention stuff like this online CTFs that were hosted previously, or this 24/7 CTF. This is also pretty good. Rootme.org, that is also nice. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff. Hack this site. Okay, this is also one that I like. So you can go to this website, and again, all of these are free. Just sign up, create accounts here, try this out.
Hmm.
Same for this Defend the Web.
Defend the web. Is this like specifically for like web security?
No, not specifically. I mean, it has a lot of other stuff as well.
Okay.
Web security is not like specifically, if
No,
you
like
just talk about web
OS,
security.
challenges related to OS concepts and
Pardon?
I feel like is the site specific for the challenges related to OS concepts?
OS concepts.
OWASP.
OWASP, OWASP, okay, yeah.
Hmm.
OWASP, actually, see, this course is not really intended to cover web application hacking. This it's just that I'm showing you a few websites, and since these are websites, they do host web
Hmm.
application challenges as well. But all of these are general, okay?
No, like
They're not.
this names secure the web, so I was like assuming like is this site specific for the OS concepts building? if you
No,
want
no,
to
that's
try the
not the
OS
case.
one. Okay.
See, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, there's cryptography against ethnography.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's also a little bit of coding involved. There might be some forensics as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, now there will be concepts related to OWASP and other aspects of web security. That's
Mm-hmm.
also sorry, that's always going to be there in a website like this because that is a huge part of security as well. So that is not something that you can ignore.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at a few of these challenges. Let's say we go to intro. The playground levels are designed to challenge and so on. We'll need to find the login details for the form shown below. And of course, these are not your actual login details. So in this, it's very simple, just to use source. This is the username, this is the password.
Okay.
The first thing you ever do when you try to see any website, whether part of a CTF or part of an individual challenge like this, it's always a good idea to take a look at the source code for it because it okay, invalid details. Okay. Oh yeah, there was a space that I accidentally copied. So it always helps to look at the source code. Okay, so we have completed this one. It's simple. Then if I go back here, now I can also filter by any particular topic that I want. Like if I just want to look at cryptography, okay, I can try to see these ones. So decrypt the following text. Okay, so can you tell me what this text is? Like what the answer to this level is?
But this is just a Caesar cipher. Uh,
It's Caesar.
mm, looks like this only replacement of the alphabets there.
Take a closer look.
PASS. Reflection cipher, I guess. Complete this level. Enter this password. There's not a mirror or reflection cipher, I guess. This is.
Yeah, this is just a it's not really a cipher, it's just they've
Right.
reversed this text.
They reverse the text only.
So the password is just this in reverse because if you read it, the rest is just hello, welcome to the crypt levels on hack this.
Hmm.
These levels are all about decryption and logging. You will need to employ a lot of brain power and stuff. Okay, this is just basically filler text. It
Hmm.
has nothing to do with the actual
Password is
solution.
only this
Yeah,
WOOCRYPT.
exactly. So to complete this level, enter this pass. WooCrypt basically WOOCRYPT. And of course, see, they will have filler. A lot of challenges will have a filler text so that you waste your time there or to throw you off. It's always going to be the case.
Hmm.
Again, if we take another look at the crypt ones, okay, so
Following.
decrypt the following text now.
Ctfs. This is Caesar.
This is Caesar. Okay. So how can I decrypt this?
Mm, we need a key. It's Caesar cipher.
I need a key, of course. I can go to this website, ROT13,
Mm-hmm.
paste my text here. Okay, so it's not ROT13, but it has all the other variations.
A to N.
So
A to N accesses.
A to N is always going to be the case for ROT13, but what
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no.
is that this is not ROT13. It
Uh-huh.
might be some other, like the key might be different. So let's see.
I guess
You
4
can
we can
cycle
use.
through all these different
Wrote
values.
3 or wrote 4.
Okay, this is the correct one, ROT22.
Mm-hmm. There is not
So it
as
says,
easy as the last, but still not too challenging.
for this
Mm,
pass. See, the password
Password.
is always this. What we need,
Shift that
the other
letter.
text you can choose to ignore. Shift that letter, which is basically what happens in a Caesar cipher.
Mm.
You shift letters around.
Okay. Define the web.
Okay, third one. This is a little more interesting.
Dictate the following. Wow.
Text.
Dun, dun, dun. Is this Morse code?
Yes, this is Morse code.
Same. So, hmm.
Okay,
Morse
so
code is.
yeah, this is actually Morse code itself.
Okay.
So again, what you need to do is copy this entire thing, or you can just take a Morse code table and decode it character by character. But that's up to you.
No, like that will be a long process.
And definitely. But the thing is, I had to try a number of decoders for this before I was able to get the correct answer.
Hmm.
So I don't remember which one it was.
Type a message here.
Okay, error
Error
in input.
input cannot translate.
What if I tell it to clean up? Okay, no. Oh, it's converting it to Morse code. No, I need to place it here. Okay, this one works.
Thank you, sir.
This is the password. Thank you, sir. This is like they're thanking Samuel Morse
Hmm.
for inventing the Morse code. So this is your answer for this level. Simply type. You can type it, paste it, whatever you want. Similarly, you have other challenges you can look at. There's SQL injection, there's steganography. If I take a look at steganography, what do I find? Squashed image. Let's see what this is. Okay, it's telling us to find a username password. Again, it might have something to do with the technique that we've seen before.
Hmm. With the image.
Hmm?
With the image.
Yeah, with the image, of course, yes.
Hmm.
So I can try saving this. Okay, same directory. What was the name? b5.u. So, oh, okay, we are in the same directory anyway. Hmm. Now there is a few things that we find here. secret.text user admin pass safe pk. I think this is file embedded into this. Let's try. Okay, admin, I don't really need to copy.
Secret text user.
Let's say invalid. Okay. Let's try. Okay, so safe was a password actually. PK was just something related to whatever had been applied. Now we could actually employ extraction here to remove this, to extract this text actually, not remove it from the file. But with strings, we saw that we didn't even need to use that. That's why I mentioned Ascii is very useful when it comes to these kind of things. Now, of course, if we had to look through the entire output, that would make it a little more tedious, but okay, we don't really need to look at this. Okay, so again, this is another resource where you can go try and solve different challenges. Morse code. Okay, we have seen Morse code. Now, have you ever used this website? Is known as tryhack.com. Like, have you ever tried using this website?
No, sir.
Okay, so basically, see, in this course, when we started out, the first thing we saw was Ctfs. So
Mm-hmm.
the next thing that we'll be doing, I'll be moving on to a couple of web-based Ctfs. Web-based doesn't, they'll be hosted online. So it's completely hosted online on this website. All you do is you create an account, you download an access file, you just run that. So it's a VPN connection to their network, and then you start hacking that machine.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing you do is simply go to this website, tryhackme.com, create an account,
Mm-hmm.
and start working with it.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, let's get your initial setup done for that website. If you are having access to a system right now, are you able to use your Linux currently? Now, of course, it has, see, a lot of the things on this website are free, but it has a few rooms that are paid. That's why you can't access them with a free account. But I think it's worth creating an account on the website. There's a lot of stuff to learn, a lot of stuff to, a lot of different kinds of machines that you can crack. So there are learning paths. There's, okay, the network section. Okay, that is a little expensive. It's paid. But there's a lot of stuff you can learn. They have different rooms. Okay, so that's different CTFs. They have different series, different paths that you can complete. So it's basically a very helpful website when you are learning. Okay, so are you having access to your Windows, sorry, your Linux system currently?
Currently, no.
No? Okay. So when you have the time, okay, during the weekend, what I'd like you to do is sign up for this website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go to this first room, welcome. Okay, currently I'm not connected to their network. All you have to do is to connect. You will be having access to, you will be given a file. You go to access. Okay, after you create an account, you download a configuration file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what you do is on your Linux, this I'm talking about using Linux because the tools that you need to work on Ctfs, again, those are mostly just present in Linux. It's much easier to solve Ctfs with Linux than with Windows. So you'll be given a file. All you need to do is sudo open VPN. So open VPN is the kind of VPN protocol that is used to connect us to their network. And just write the name of that configuration file.
Mm-hmm.
It will run, okay, the configuration file, it will run on its own with OpenVPN, and it will connect you to their network. So it's basically like you are inside their internal network. That's the sort of thing this VPN does. It gives you access to their internal network through a tunneled connection, and then you can access the machines or the systems on that website. So that's actually websites like these, like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, all of them will work similarly. That they'll give you access to their networks using some kind of VPN configuration like this, and you can use this to connect to their servers and access their machines. Okay, so when you see this option, initialization sequence completed, that means you are now connected. So I'm just going to go over to another tab and I'm going to check my connections. So there is a new connection that has appeared, tunnel 0, and that's the IP. So that means on their network, this is the IP that I have, 10.8.10.203. So if I go to the dashboard, uh, okay, now earlier where it was saying get connected, now it's saying that you are connected, your virtual IP is this. So we have connected to the network using OpenVPN. Okay, so what you do is you simply click on deploy. So using this website, the thing is everything is deployed within the cloud. So you simply have to connect and start working on those machines. You don't even have to download anything. You don't have to configure anything on your system. So this is pretty simple. You don't have to worry about running multiple VMs or anything. Just one Linux system that you're running will do.
What are those?
So initially, when you deploy any machine, you will have access for an hour, but you can extend the time by 1 hour every time your access time goes to less than 1 hour. And this is the IP of that machine. Okay, so simply what you'll need to do in this case is, in this room, you copy this IP and paste it into your browser. In this case, what is it? 10.10. Okay, let's can simply copy this, access it. Okay, so enter this flag here, and that is your first room. So if you're able to do this, that means you understand the basics of this website correctly. Now you can terminate this machine. You can go and participate in other rooms
Hmm.
and work on other systems. So the next CTF that we'll do will be on this website.
Okay.
Okay, so I would suggest that you create an account as soon as possible.
Try
Get ready.
happy.
Okay,
Hmm.
see, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just create an account, access the systems, and you can continue working here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hmm.
there is a machine that uh, have in mind for the next class. So we'll work on that, and of course, a couple of systems more that we work on during, sorry, not during, using this platform.
Okay.
Okay, so so far we've targeted Linux systems mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing that we'll do, the next machine I'll target is Windows.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see how to do that in the next session, because again, I would have started it now, but we are operating at just 1/3